In this video, we look at the fundamental tool that allows us to convey and comprehend ideas: language. Its power and influence over our perceptions is profound and largely subconscious. Language, at its core, is a system, an intricate web of signs, symbols, and structures, which we've developed to translate abstract thoughts into understandable expressions. The effect of language on our perception is akin to a lens, subtly shaping and coloring our view of reality. To fully appreciate language's role, it's vital to dissect its structure. Language is like a well-oiled machine, consisting of several interconnected parts, each with its own function. At the most basic level, there are phonemes, the smallest units of sound that distinguish one word from another. Then, we have morphemes, the smallest meaningful units in a language. Morphemes combine to form words, words unite to create sentences, and sentences together construct a narrative. These elements come together to form a system that is more than the sum of its parts, giving rise to a boundless realm of expression and understanding. How do words acquire meaning? It seems simple at first glance, but dive deeper and you'll encounter a world of nuances and complexities. Words are not inherently meaningful. Instead, they are arbitrary symbols that derive meaning from our collective agreement. The word tree, for instance, doesn't resemble the entity it represents. Yet, when we say tree, an image, a concept, or a memory instantly comes to mind. Furthermore, meanings can shift and evolve, leading to multiple layers of interpretation. For example, the word cool, which initially described temperature, is now also a slang term for impressive or fashionable. It's these nuances and flexibility that add richness to our language and enable creativity and communication. Additionally, consider the indelible link between language and culture. Language is a mirror that reflects the traditions, beliefs, and values of a culture. It's the cornerstone of our shared history, narratives, and norms. Take, for example, the Inuit people, who have dozens of words for snow, a testament to the significance of this natural element in their lives. Or consider the multitude of polite expressions in Japanese, underscoring the society's emphasis on respect and hierarchy. In each culture, unique words and phrases encapsulate specific experiences, attitudes, and perceptions, creating a linguistic fingerprint that is distinct and authentic. Through language, cultures express their uniqueness, and individuals navigate the complexities of their societal milieu. Delving deeper into the cognitive realm, language and thought form an intricate bond. The words we use aren't merely expressions of preformed thoughts, but rather, they shape our thought processes themselves. This phenomenon, often known as linguistic determinism, suggests that the structure of our language molds the way we perceive and understand the world. As an example, let's take a look at languages with different color terms. Some cultures have multiple words distinguishing shades that others would see as the same color. Research has shown that these linguistic distinctions can shape the way individuals perceive colors. This is not to say language restricts thought, but rather it organizes and influences it. Shifting gears to emotions, language is a powerful tool for expressing and influencing our emotional experiences. It's fascinating how a simple string of words can invoke joy, sorrow, fear, or excitement. Poets, songwriters, and authors weave words into emotional tapestries that can move us to tears or laughter. But language doesn't only allow us to express emotions, it also influences them. The very act of verbalizing our feelings can affect the intensity of those emotions. Ever noticed how a fear seems less daunting when you talk about it, or how joy feels more profound when you share it? This is an example of linguistic relativity in action, shaping not just our thoughts, but our emotional landscape as well. Now let's unveil the power of words. Words aren't merely descriptors, they can also act as catalysts, triggering action and shaping beliefs. The art of persuasive language and rhetoric plays a significant role here. Politicians, advertisers, and leaders have long harnessed this power to influence public opinion. For instance, Martin Luther King Jr.'s "I Have a Dream" speech used powerful, evocative language to inspire a movement and change the course of history. Even in our daily lives, we see this power at work. Think of a motivational coach who uses energizing words to spark a change in mindset, or a friend whose comforting words help in challenging times. Words, wielded skillfully, can change minds, stir hearts, and even drive societal change. Before we continue exploring the fascinating world of language, Please remember to hit that like button and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow. Moving on, just as language can enlighten, it can also obscure. It's critical to consider how language can perpetuate bias and influence social attitudes. Words and phrases carry with them cultural baggage, and when used without scrutiny, can reinforce harmful stereotypes or biases. For instance, consider the debate around gender-neutral language. Terms like fireman or chairman can unintentionally perpetuate the idea that these roles are male-dominated. By shifting towards gender-neutral language, such as firefighter or chairperson, we can promote inclusivity and challenge these stereotypes. Continuing with the fascinating concept of linguistic relativity, we encounter the idea that our language doesn't merely describe our reality, it shapes it. Linguistic relativity, also known as the Sapir-Whorf hypothesis, proposes that the language we speak affects how we perceive and interact with the world. For example, in languages where the future tense is used less frequently, speakers are often better at planning for the future. This happens because they perceive the future as more connected to their present. Isn't it fascinating to think that the language we speak could influence our habits and decisions? Moving on to the realm of metaphors and figurative language, these aren't just fancy literary devices used by poets and authors. They are powerful tools that shape our understanding and interpretation of the world. When we say time is money, we're not just making a comparison. We're framing our understanding of time as a valuable resource that can be spent or saved. Metaphors can shape our attitudes and behaviors in profound ways. Take, for instance, the war metaphors often used in the context of public health crises. By framing the situation as a battle against a silent enemy, it changes how we perceive and react to the situation, perhaps promoting unity and concerted effort. Peeling back the layers of language, we arrive at an interesting intersection: the link between language and identity. The words we use, the dialect we speak, and even the slang we adopt are often tightly bound to our personal and group identities. In the melting pot of New York City, for example, distinct dialects can be traced to specific boroughs, shaping the identity of its residents. Furthermore, multilingual individuals often report feeling like they have a different personality for each language they speak, illustrating how language can shape and reflect our personal identities. Just as language shapes us, we shape language, particularly through technology. This becomes evident as we explore the influence of technology on language use and communication. Social media platforms, text messaging, and other digital communications have fostered an entirely new vernacular, complete with emojis, acronyms, and internet slang. We've seen the birth of words like selfie, tweet, and even Google as a verb, demonstrating how technology has added new dimensions to language. Yet, it's not just about new words. Technology has also changed how we communicate, often promoting brevity and speed over thoroughness and accuracy. This isn't the first time language has evolved, of course. Language is a living, breathing entity, and its evolution can be traced throughout human history. Let's journey back in time to examine the development and evolution of languages. From the ancient pictographs of Sumerians to the complex scripts of the Chinese language, every transformation tells a story about human progress and adaptation. An exciting example is the evolution of Latin into the Romance languages. Latin, once the language of the Roman Empire, gradually morphed into distinct languages, including Spanish, French, Italian, and Portuguese. The remnants of this evolution are seen today, like footprints in the sands of time, making us the inheritors of an extraordinary linguistic legacy. In these multifaceted explorations, language reveals itself to be more than just a system of communication. It is an intricate tapestry woven with threads of identity, molded by technology, and bearing the markings of its evolutionary journey. So, whether it's the patois of a Jamaican neighborhood that speaks to a vibrant culture, the birth of a new word on Twitter, or the echoes of ancient Latin in a Spanish conversation, language continues to shape and be shaped by our collective human experience. Delving deeper into the spectrum of language reveals another potent facet: the concept of language as a tool for social dominance and control. Language, in the hands of power, can shape societies and dictate norms. The courtroom provides a striking illustration of this dynamic. Legal jargon, complex syntax, and formalized expressions form a language barrier that often excludes laypeople. reinforcing the authority of the legal fraternity. Similarly, political rhetoric, loaded with persuasive techniques, is used to sway public opinion and assert influence. History is rife with examples, from Churchill's stirring speeches during World War II to the potent slogans of modern election campaigns. Switching gears, let's explore the realm of multilingualism, a fascinating kaleidoscope of the linguistic world. Speaking multiple languages isn't just a communication asset, it's a cognitive one. Research indicates that multilingual individuals exhibit improved problem-solving skills, better multitasking abilities, and even enhanced empathy, as navigating between languages seems to cultivate an understanding of different perspectives. But multilingualism is not without its challenges. Balancing proficiency, managing code switching, the practice of alternating between languages, and maintaining cultural ties can pose significant difficulties. As we reach the final section of this linguistic odyssey, it's time to look back and appreciate the mesmerizingly intricate relationship between language and perception. Our journey began by examining the very structure of language, a framework as nuanced as it is universal. We then explored how language assigns meaning, influences our thoughts and emotions, and plays a vital role in cultural communication. We uncovered language's potent capacity to shape personal identities and societies at large, and how it adapts to and is influenced by technological advances. The concept of linguistic relativity showcased how language may frame our reality, while metaphors and figurative language add depth to our understanding. Through the lenses of bias, power, and multilingualism, we witnessed the diverse dynamics that language brings to bear upon the human experience. Language, in its multifarious forms and functions, paints a rich canvas of human cognition, emotion, and society. It's the mirror that reflects our identity, the bridge that connects cultures, and the medium through which power is exercised and resisted. It is both the sculptor and the clay, shaping our perception of the world while simultaneously being molded by our collective experience. It is a story, a song, a connection, a heritage, a gift, a tool, and above all, an ongoing testament to the creative and adaptive spirit of humanity. So the next time you speak, write, or listen, remember, you're not just using language, you're participating in a remarkable legacy of human ingenuity and expression.